news today, and we'll start off with that. Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the Jets for The Athletic, reported today that Hackett, Douglas, Saleh, all expected to be back because Rodgers wants them back. That is a heavy load given to a guy who's played 4 plays for the New York Jets, the kind of power that he yields. Now, I'm not calling for anybody to be let go, but I wonder how Jet fans feel about that this guy who has done nothing.
Hello?
You okay, Peter?
My computer's playing volume for some reason.
Unbelievable.
Ads are just popping
He's
up.
really done nothing for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, through no fault of his own, he got hurt.
Right.
That he's wielding this sort of power. And Zach didn't pull this out of the air. This is the general feeling. That's why I asked Saleh yesterday the question, when you bench an Allen Lazard, do you run it past Rodgers? And he said that he didn't, but I think that the conversation is probably had. Maybe the verbiage of running it past him is not correct.
Well, you don't have to run it past him when Rodgers is the one who made the decision himself.
Oh, you got to sit down Lazard?
Yeah, it's just the decision gets made, and that's it, apparently. Well, if he's deciding on the head coach.
It is funny, though, because I don't know how much maneuverability Rodgers has, because he didn't get paid a lot this year. Through his largesse, he gave up a lot of money.
Yes.
But he's making a lot of money guaranteed next year and the year after that. So if the Jets do something that he doesn't like, what's he going to do? Where's he going to go? Is he going to retire and leave over $100 million guaranteed on the table? Maybe he will. He's a wacky dude. Well, but I find that hard to believe.
I don't think he would do that, but could he go to Woody and say, I don't think it's working here, so I'm going to retire or trade me?
But they'll say, okay, retire.
Well, then maybe
that leaves $100 million.
Yeah, I mean, but what do the Jets then do? Where do they go for a quarterback? They're scrambling.
Zach Wilson again.
Now, as you said, now you got Lazard for 3 years with no Aaron Rodgers. I mean, right. They have no choice. They made their bed. They got to lie in it. And it's not really anybody's fault. I think everybody wanted Aaron Rodgers here, and they want Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback of the team in 2024, because what's the alternative? Zach Wilson clearly isn't the alternative. All right? Are they going to be in a position to start over, draft another quarterback? What are they going to do with all this talent they have? And then when is the defense like, really, we're going to have to babysit another young quarterback?
Right.
And your history is not very good of developing young quarterbacks. So what are you supposed to do? You're going to have to listen to what he says, and you're going to have to hope that there's a Vince Lombardi trophy at the end of the rainbow and hope it all works out. What else can you do?
Now, this is a Tuesday. And like Wednesday is Prince Spaghetti Day.
That's right.
Tuesday is Aaron Rodgers on McAfee Day. Yay! But today he was a little more circumspect about playing this year. And he was asked by the McAfee crowd, is returning the season still the goal despite the team's play?
Well, I think it's always been first, am I healthy? And then, are we alive? Are we in it? Are we playing good enough to make a run? Can I step in and protect myself and play at the level that I feel like I'm capable of playing? But the first part is the health. So can I protect myself? Can I move around the way I want to move around? So there's a natural progression here to the rehab. And, that's going to involve actually getting back onto the field to start to do some things that are more football related. But we're not where I can make a decision on playing, because I'm just health-wise, I'm improving steadily, but I'm not at ability to play at this point.
And then he goes on to say health first, then playoff chances factored in.
Once I'm healthy, then that's where we're at. And are we live? Are we in it? Can I help the team and not hurt the team by being back out there? Can I protect myself? Can I move around and do all the things I want to do? If the answer is yes, then we move in that direction. If the answer is no, then I got to listen to my body. Obviously, I still have to get cleared by everybody at that point, but it's health first, and then can I play? Are we alive? And for the playoffs second.
Health first. They're not going to be in the playoff hunt on Christmas Eve.
But they are mathematically still alive.
On Christmas Eve, you think they will be?
Well, I mean, at this particular second, while he's talking to McAfee, they're still alive.
Right.
So he's still going to talk as if the playoffs can happen. They take on the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, can they win that game? I wouldn't bet on it. They're a 2-point dog in their own building. I'm sure that number might actually even go up, considering they can't score, and the Falcons need the game to win the division. And then Houston, I don't see them beating the Texans, but I guess it's possible. So as long as they're still mathematically alive, the carrot's out there. Guys, go out there, win games, because if we're alive on December 24th, man, I'm playing. But why do I have a feeling the second they lose that 9th game, which I think would effectively end their season, I think you'll see a different tune. And that could happen before the 24th, right? They've got the game coming up against Atlanta. Lose that, that's loss 8. And then the following week would be loss 9 if it's to Houston. So we're still not to the 24th. There's still 2 more weeks before that. So don't you have a feeling, Michael, that once they get to where they can't finish with 9 wins, that's when he'll say, I'm done?
I wonder, though. I think that he should say he's done. But if health-wise, and again, he's running at 70% on the underwater treadmill. So that's just 70%. He's still not at 100%. You're not going to go out there. In all likelihood, if the guy is limping, we're not seeing him limp. He makes sure that when he's photographed, he's walking fine and throwing fine. But he was asked by McAfee about, how you feeling?
Every week I'm doing better. And, I think the ability to not travel to Buffalo probably helped me the most, just because being able to get those 10 days straight of rehab in without the travel, and as much fun as it is to see the guys and support the guys, it also does set me back a little bit on rehab. So because I was going to come back here and trying to exclusively be back here post-Thanksgiving, that gave me a really good jump to go from where I'm walking almost normal to not just walking, normal, but now jogging and increasing speed and the body weight on that. So that's kind of natural progression. I'm feeling strong. We're at 11 weeks tomorrow since surgery. And again, we said that 8 to 12 week is when a lot of the healing of the actual Achilles kind of finalizes. Obviously, I've been ahead for the most part with this rehab. So I'm excited about kind of what's next and how this thing keeps getting better.
If it doesn't get better, he has a perfect out. The Jets are not going to be in it on Christmas Eve when his return date's supposed to be. And then he could be magnanimous and go, you know what? It's better I don't play because we're not, let the other quarterbacks get their time. And it can never be written that he didn't defy the odds. He said, well, I'm ready to go, but it's probably the best not to. I'll wait. I'll come back 100% next year. And then if they're in it, I still personally don't think he's going to be ready to play football. I just don't. Hey, I could be wrong. I've been wrong so far.
I don't think, honestly, it's all hope at this point. He's not going to know how he's going to feel. Listen, December 24th, that's still basically a month from now. So a lot has to happen between now and then. I think he wants to be out there. I think he's motivated to be out there. But I think he's smarter than that. Do you really want to come back? Now, the Commanders are not a great defensive team, but you'd have to play.
No, the worst in the league.
But if he comes back on the 24th, then likely he's going to play against Cleveland. Browns may need that game. Browns have one of the best defenses in football. Do you really want to get hurt in Week 17 in a meaningless game?
And forget about his injury with that offensive line. That's why we've wondered how much better would they be with Rodgers, because they can't protect the quarterback.
But it does not benefit him to say to the world, I'm done. Because he doesn't want to tell the Jets that. He still wants that carrot out there. Guys, you keep winning games, and we're still alive. I can come back. So I think he wants to motivate this team to have meaningful games and to go out there and win. What would that do to the psyche of the room if they knew he wasn't coming back? The season would definitely be over then, right? We all think it's over now. Can you imagine if definitely Rodgers shut it down? What would that room be like? It'd be like a morgue. Their only carrot right now is let's just try to win games, stay relevant. Hopefully Rodgers comes back, and we might be able to sneak into the playoffs.
Well, here's Garrett Wilson on Bart and Hahn. He's on with them every Tuesday.
Sure.
And he talked about the energy that Rodgers brings in the building.
Yeah, I got to see him earlier today, and there's no doubt, having him around the facility, just having him in the meeting room, whatever it may be, is so valuable, and the effect that it has on the guys, on me, is priceless.
All right, here this amazes me. I've never taken this angle on this before, so he means so much to them. Don Mattingly once told me, there is nothing more empty than when you can't play and you're around the team. They're not interested in talking to you. They see themselves in that situation. You're a non-person. This guy is a god, and he hasn't even played since the 4th play of the year. Is he that transcendent? When a guy like Don Mattingly, who was the Yankees back then, when he had to sit out with his back injury, said there's nothing worse than being on the at that point the DL. He said you're nothing. You have no worth to anybody.
But isn't the worth the fact that he might come back? So not only is Aaron Rodgers,
Mattingly was going to come back.
No, but listen, no offense to Don Mattingly, he's not Aaron Rodgers.
He was an MVP too.
But Aaron Rodgers is going to the Hall of Fame. Don Mattingly's not. This is a guy that is saving their season.
Theoretically.
Giving them a reason to want to be a Jet moving forward, to give them their best chance to go out there and win, and there's a possibility he might be able to come back. Wouldn't that all go away if you knew he wasn't coming back till 2024?
I don't know.
That mystique would then be gone, because then he becomes that non-entity. I think he wants to keep the hope alive, the possibility of returning. He still has value because, Michael, what would be the purpose at this point for him to stunt his rehab to go be on the sidelines for meaningless football? Wouldn't he just, go stay in California, rehab? We'll see you in August.
I'm not even doubting it. I'm just amazed at the kind of pull that he has on teammates, that he wasn't even a teammate for that long. I get what you're saying about coming back as a carrot, but again, Mattingly was that team, and Mattingly, although he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, he's a borderline Hall of Famer. If he didn't get hurt, he would have waltzed in on the first bat. So he meant a lot to that team, and he told me personally, there's nothing worse than being injured. You're a non-person.
I get it. But, and again, this is not really like who's the better player or whatever. The thing is the Jets are relevant because of Aaron Rodgers. Everybody on that team knows their best chance to do anything is with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Otherwise, look what you have. You've got guys that don't belong in the NFL as your quarterback. So it kind of just devalues everybody there, just taking a knee on the rest of the season. Your best hope is that maybe, just maybe, we can play our way into a meaningful game on Christmas Eve, and that he might be able to come back and salvage the season. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Let's just fast forward to August for training camp next year.
I think it goes beyond the possibility of him coming back. I think even if he was
some kind of aura about him,
I think even if they knew he 100% wasn't coming back, these are guys. None of these guys have played with a Hall of Famer before. We have some really nice potential players. Sauce Gardner one day maybe turns into that. Garrett Wilson maybe one day turns into that. Quinnen Williams maybe one day turns into that. But so far, all they have is a bunch of good players. They get to be around a superstar, a guy they grew up watching.
That's true.
I think that regardless of whether he's coming back or not, I just think he brings a lot to the room. He makes them feel something.
It amazes me. It does, and I agree with you. He makes them feel, but he has no connection to them.
Well, he did, but he built one while he was there over the summer.
I guess so.
Listen. Hard Knocks was we all know the world's biggest puff piece. But we did get to see him interact with them, and it was very clear it was not fraudulent. He seemed really cool on that show. Mm-hmm. He seemed like, if you remember what he was like in our interview with him. To see a guy of that level who's that famous, the Allstate commercials, Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl champion, multiple-time MVP.
Wasn't Discount Double Check is State Farm?
That's what I said.
You said Allstate.
What did I say?
You said Allstate.
What Discount Double Check? They grew up watching the guy is the point. I don't know. It was a really effective commercial.
I mean, I'm sure because a lot of these guys they maybe didn't have favorite teams, but they watched Monday Night Football. They watched Sunday Night Football. They seen this guy win a Super Bowl. They're all kids when this happened. And now their idol walks into the room. That's number one. Number two, their best chance to win is this guy. Their best chance. What's the alternative? And these guys know their careers aren't long. They wasted last year. Now they wasted this year. It's hard to believe. Like, Sauce Gardner's going to be in his third year next year.
Crazy.
They're like, let's get to winning here.